Hello everyone, and welcome to the Budapest Gambit. This is a gambit for black against d4 by white, and there's a vicious trap where you can checkmate in just 8 moves. Let's get into it. So, d4, knight to f6, and c4. This is very normal stuff. This has been played 13 million times. And now we get pawn to e5. This is the Budapest Gambit. And one of the things I like about this gambit is it's not some weird, obscure gambit where you're only going to get it once every 1 billion games. No. You can get this once every, I would say 10 games get black, because d4, c4 is pretty common. So, I will look at all the other lines afterwards. However, first I will start off the checkmate and 8 trap. So, pawn takes, and we go knight to g4, attacking the pawn. Then we'll go bishop f4, defending the pawn. This is known as the Rubinstein variation. Knight to c6, defending the pawn, or not defending, attacking the pawn once again. Knight to f3, defending it. And now, what we want to do is queen to e7, adding another attacker to the pawn. Sadly, we can do that, but it wouldn't be very good because we would be blocking out our sad dark squared bishop. So what we do here is we first get our dark squared bishop out with bishop to b4 check. They will block with their knight here, and now we go queen to e7. Now, out of the 60,000 games or so that have been played here, 27,000 have gone pawn to a3. What I recommend is, in this position, to be hovering your knight over taking this pawn, in preparation that they play pawn to a3. If they go pawn to a3, we can just take the pawn. Now, that probably looks surprising, wait, doesn't that just blunder the bishop? If they take the bishop, I'll give you a second, try and spot the move. Knight to d3, checkmate. It's a checkmate because the queen pins this pawn to the king, so the pawn cannot take, as they would lose their king. And, that's checkmate in 8 moves. So, what if they don't take our bishop? What if they go knight takes? We'll take back. Remember, they can still not take because they would fall into the same checkmate. If they take, though, it's very important that you do not take the bishop immediately. What you need to do is, well, first of all, because if you play this, then they take the bishop, and now we actually are down a bishop. What you first need to do is play the intermediate move, bishop takes knight, queen takes, and now queen takes on e5. And we just have a very even position after e3, d6, bishop to e2, and bishop to f5. This is just an even position. Engine says it's 0, 0, 0. So, if you get that, probably just going to be a draw, which is, for a gambit, getting a draw is probably good. I'm going to go back. If they play the correct move here, pawn to e3, we take, they take, we take, what's the move? Yeah, they will play bishop to e2, d6, and this is just a relatively even position. White is slightly better, as they have an extra piece developed, but really, it's not that big of a difference. So let me go back. They can also play knight to c3. This is known as the Cornell Richter variation. That's German, I think. I'm probably butchering that name. When I look that variation up, I legitimately cannot find who made that variation, who named it, what place is named after, anything like that. If you do know, please tell me, because I want to know, and I actually do not know. If they do play this, they will take, um, and in return for the one pawn, they have these terrible isolated doubled c pawns, which are just bad. Anyways, we'll go queen to e7, attacking the pawn. They would go queen to d5, the only move that keeps the pawn defended. And now we go f6. We are attacking the pawn once more. If they do not take our pawn, we will take them. So they will take, we'll take for knight. It's very important that this attacks the queen. That's why they can't just take this pawn. And now queen back to d3, pawn up. And white is slightly better because they have an extra pawn. But these two doubled c pawns are, in reality, probably worth like 1.5 pawns because, I mean, they're just terrible. Nobody wants them. So just bishop to e6. You can castle either way, and we just have a even position. So let me go back. Also, quick side note: they can also play knight to f3 first. This is known as the Adler variation, but we just play the exact same moves here and here, and now we have the same position. So there is another thing that they can do. What if they just sack the pawn right back? Pawn to e4. This is known as the Alakine variation. The point of this is that after we take, they go pawn to f4, and we have even material, and we have an extra piece developed, but they have a big center. You will go knight back to e6, not e6, c6. So what was the move? Yeah, bishop to e3, go bishop to b4 check. They will go knight to d2, blocking out the check. And now we just castle, and white is slightly better due to their big space advantage, although we are an extra, or I guess we're an extra development point up since we both have two pieces developed, but we're the ones that are castled. Yeah, that's all you need to know for that variation. If I just go back here, what if they decline the gambit? What if they go d5? And also, quick side note, if they play anything else other than d5 or taking the pawn, you're just going to take them. So, pawn pushes, now we go bishop to c5, and there is a trap here. If they go bishop to g5, we can actually just take the pawn here on f2. They will take, and now we go knight here, attacking the king. King goes back to e1. We take the bishop, and we're just out of a pawn, and they can castle. There is one little thing here, though. We can actually not go knight to e4. Despite this being the most popular move, this is not good for black, as they can go king to e3. If we take the bishop with our knight, pawn to h4, and the knight is trapped. And if we take the bishop for our queen, they just take with the king, and this is actually a complete draw. Somehow, black is not better here, despite there being a king on e4, and they have no pieces developed. So, let me just go back. And they can also play it in a slightly different order, like here, here, and here. We have the same move. Something like this. And we will have pretty much the same ideas every time. Knight here and here, bishop here or here if we can pin knight, or maybe even here too. Castle, and yeah, we just have a nice position. Even material, but I prefer black here. So there is one more line we can play here. After they take, we can go knight to e4. This is known as a Fajarowicz variation. And the point is that we're not focused on getting the pawn back, we're focused on more active pieces. But this is a much more tricky line, and I can't really recommend it, as the computer absolutely hates it, and for good reason, as if white knows what to do, you're just gonna have a pretty miserable position. So I don't recommend this, but if you want to play it, I can't really stop you. So that is all you really need to know to play the Budapest Gambit. It is not a very theory-heavy gambit or something like that. So let me know how the opening goes in the comments below, and have a great day. I will see you next time.